We'll pick up our journey where we left off last time, driving north from Virgoe, all the way through Porto, to a city that some say should still be the capital of Portugal.
Well, good morning guys, from a slightly overcast and drizzly Guimarães. We're in the car park of the castle there. It was absolutely lovely last night. The castle was all floodlit. We've got some absolutely gorgeous pictures of the castle at night. And it's okay to park here. You can see the vans in the car park here near the castle. That's perfectly permitted. There's a few motorhomes here, a couple over this side as well. But we had quite a restless night last night, and I think you can see the signs of that in the car park just here, and I'll spin you around and show you some more. But like a lot of these urban park-ups, unfortunately, you know, some of the youths do like to rag their cars around here at night to the early hours of the morning. So right the way up until probably 3 o'clock in the morning, various guys would turn up, do a few donuts in the car park, yeah, and just, well, keep everybody awake. But such is the joys of wild camping in the urban environment. But you're going to get this, and these large car parks, and especially these dirt car parks where it's easy for people to do donuts and spin the tyres, you know, you're going to get this sort of thing. So just be aware of that when you're finding your parking spaces. But now we're going to go and explore the castle. Hopefully it's open today. On Monday it's usually closed. The guys are just getting ready in the vans there. We're probably going to nip down to a bakery, get some bread, have a bit of breakfast, and then we're going to explore this gorgeous city. And Guimarães is an absolutely fantastic city. If you are in northern Portugal, it's definitely one place that is, you know, we can highly recommend you visit. And I'm sure hopefully later on Roy's going to tell us a lot more about the history of the place, because it's very significant. So Roy, perhaps you can tell us a little bit of the significance of the castle here?
Well, we are in Guimarães. This is the Castelo of Guimarães, the Castle of Guimarães. Our first king was Dom Afonso Henriques. He was the king at that time. He conquered this whole area around, because it was a treaty between the Portuguese and the Spanish. This area belonged to us. Its original name was Condado Portucalense. And but then the king started conquering further south the lands until the Algarve. He reached the Algarve. It belonged to Moros, which is Arabs, were staying there. That's why a lot of the cities in the southern country, in southern part of Portugal, start with an Al. Algarve, Aljustrel, all the words that begin with Al, Arabs.
So this was the first castle in Portugal?
Yeah, it served military purposes, and there was where Dom Afonso Henriques was just out there in the statue, used to live. And then the place where we're staying with our vans.
So the King of Portugal used to live here?
Yeah. He was baptized in that church, that little church outside of the castle.
Oh, we'll go and have a look at that.
Yeah, in a moment. And we are parked in a place behind this castle. It's called Campo de Samamed, the field of Samamed. There was a big battle there. The king against his mother, because his mother was married to a Spanish king, so he wanted to defeat them, so he could take care of the country, over the country. And from there, his name is Conquistador, which means the conqueror. So he was a very important king. In 1143, he had a treaty. A treaty of Zamora, which is a treaty that decides this land belongs to Portugal. But at that time it wasn't called Portugal, it was called Condado Portucalense. Yeah, it's the northern part of Portugal.
Thank you.
That's okay.
hope those few minutes and a little tour around the castle has given you a glimpse of Guimarães. It's really worth a visit. This place is steeped in Portuguese history, and yeah, I recommend that you come here and visit the city, the castle and the palace. That was a really good little stopover at Guimarães. It was really handy having Roy there and Maria. It's just nice for them to be able to tell us some of the local history about Portugal. If we'd have visited on our own, there's no way that we would have, you know, got to know that other than reading the notices in the palace, of course. But it's always handy to have somebody local who can fill you in with all that information. So that makes the trip that much more special, you know. So we're following Roy now. We're just going to their hometown actually. There's a festival on today in most of Portugal. There's a special day, and hopefully the weather's going to clear up a little bit because there's going to be a bonfire later. So we're only a couple of kilometres away from their home, and then later on we're going to walk into the town.
One of the best times to visit Portugal is late winter, early spring, during their annual carnival season, the high point being Carnival Tuesday, where brightly coloured floats and people in fancy dress fill the streets. town of Fredelos, and our hosts Roy and Maria are involved in a local environmental group, and they've been telling us that today they're all meeting to do a river clean-up. Portugal, along with a lot of southern Europe and that, has had some really bad severe weather, and the rivers have flooded and it's brought a lot of debris down the river. Now that's subsided, a lot of that debris has been left on the riverbanks, so today's task is to clean up the area, and all these guys are gathered here as part of the environmental group for Delos Verde, and we're going to clean up this riverbank. We personally thought it was a fantastic idea, so we've come along to help out. Whenever we camp anywhere on this trip, we always make sure that we leave no trace. We take all our rubbish with us. Even if there's a little bit of rubbish there when we get there, we make sure that we clear up so that there's no mess anywhere. And being involved in this little project today is just emphasising that message. So if you're out in Europe and you're camping, please make sure that you pick up all your rubbish and take it with you. Guys from the local scout group have already been down this morning doing a lot of work clearing up, and here's what they've already bagged up. You can see here on the other side of the riverbank where there's all sorts of debris. It's been deposited in the bushes and the trees and the branches. You can see plastic and paper hanging off the trees all over. So this is what the guys are here to try and clear up. Obviously when the river was a lot higher, a lot of this stuff is caught up in the trees here. It's very difficult to get to with the water here, but we'll get whatever we can out. I mean, there's stuff like this plastic, foil, material, you know, we'll get as much as we can and clean up the area as best as possible. Everything we're collecting, placing in the bag here, you can see what we've collected already. Mostly plastic rubbish. As you saw in the last video, one of the highlights of staying with Roy and Maria is we get to sample all the local food. From dishes like francesinha, which is a steak and cheese sandwich, to caldo verde, which is a simple potato and cabbage soup served with chorizo and bread. So, Lou's mum and dad.
This for you.
And for me as well, yeah. This is what we're being treated to for tea tonight. Lovely seafood. This is something that we would never ever buy, so this is going to be a first for both of us.
I hope you like it. I hope you like it.
So looks like there's prawns, clams, mussels, cockles. I can see some big prawns in there as well, and some very large mussels as well. And then we're going to have this with some rice.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. And while it wasn't something that we would normally choose to eat, it was extremely tasty. So as a way to say thanks for their fantastic hospitality, we cooked the whole family a traditional shepherd's pie and finished with a selection of English cheese and crackers. We've really had a fantastic time with Roy and Maria, and we can't thank them enough for their hospitality. In the next video we're going to give you a van tour of Roy's completed van conversion. You won't want to miss that, it's absolutely stunning. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure that you're subscribed, and thanks very much for watching. Cheers!